Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Jackie, the PA. If this is the first time you're in my channel, I welcome you. I hope you find something that you like. I hope that you subscribe, you comment, you do all the things. And if you are a returning viewer, I say this every single time because I absolutely mean it. You are the real MVP because you didn't have to come back, and here you are. Here you are. All right, y'all. I think I say this every single time I make a new video that it's been a while because it has been a while. But this video, I'm making it because of what's going on in my LinkedIn inbox. So before I get started, I want to give you a disclaimer. All these views are my own. These are my own personal opinions from lived experience. And I am going to be transparent and not disparage any place or anything like that. But this is me speaking my truth. I have been getting over the last 3 years since I have transitioned into industry as a medical science liaison, a lot of the same questions. And I started feeling bad because I'm like, I'm not even answering these questions. People probably think I'm just ignoring them because I'm mean. But the biggest reason I wasn't answering is because not only was it repetitive and the same, but I just didn't have the capacity to do it because life was lifing. And for those of you who have never been on my channel and don't know me, you know, if you're going through changing jobs and you have kids that are going off to college and you're doing college tours and then you're traveling, doing conferences, learning new therapeutic areas, life can be a little bit crazy. And if you buy a house and then you buy more investment property, life was just life. And I was reminded this past week that, I'm a big believer that I didn't come as far as I am. Like, God didn't bring me here to just bring me here, but to help people. And I really wanted to come up with a way that I could help people that wasn't going to drain me and wasn't going to take up a whole bunch of my time in these individual sections, but could provide some value. So I've been working in industry for 3 years. I started out working in diagnostics, and I am now in traditional pharmacy, a pharmaceutical, traditional pharma. But those of you who have been following me for a while, you know, I'm Dr. Jackie the PA because I'm a PA. I have worked, I'm a doctoral educated PA. I have a doctorate in medical science. And I also am a registered nurse. I worked clinically as a PA for 12 years before transitioning into industry, because I was in diagnostics. I wasn't in pharma yet, but I was in the industry. And prior to that, I worked as a registered nurse. I've worked in a variety of settings. And when I first got into industry, I was so excited because it was so new. There weren't as many PAs I felt that were in this role, and I was so excited. And then I thought I was going to have be like this lifestyle MSL blogger, PA blogger. And y'all, that takes a whole different level of energy. and I kind of like made some videos, and that was from one view. And I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've grown so much since that time, and I'm able to provide much better insight. So for those of you who are clinicians, so if you are a PA or NP, my journey and how I'm going to talk about this may be of more value to you, than maybe a pharmacist or a PhD or a medical doctor who's trying to transition into industry. I'm not saying that I can't add any value to them, but you may relate to my story more as a PA or NP. And I just really want to first answer probably the most generic question I get. And it's like, what does it take, to become an MSL? And I think that's a loaded question because it really depends on the industry that you're working, so the company. If you are under the industry umbrella, if you're working under medical device, diagnostic, so like the lab tests, blood tests, tissue tests, whatever, and traditional pharma, so medications. Each of those may require something a little bit different. Excuse me. As a PA and someone who's observed from the hiring perspective and then trying to get into the role, I will say that having a terminal degree can be of benefit. Hear me out. I'm not saying that is the only way that you can work in industry. Are there people who have gotten jobs without having a doctorate degree? Absolutely. I think now how times have changed and just how in demand the role is, it calls for that, right? Because a lot of these applications are hitting the AI software, and if that job description requires you to have a terminal degree and you don't, you're not even making it as far as you could, right? One of the things that people hear about and they probably underestimate the value of is networking, because industry is definitely about who you know. Do you need to have the credentials? Absolutely. Do you need to have the network? Yes. Networking effectively, strategically, and just networking in general is going to work to your advantage because it is needed for the role. You need to be able to network. You need to have people that speak highly of you or of your name, of your capabilities in other rooms. And I think that doesn't always happen when you can't just like be behind the screen and get these jobs. As a medical science liaison, we are tasked with building these scientific relationships with these providers, prescribers, and other healthcare people, and that requires you to be able to be personable and network. And I have had people say like I'm super introvert and I don't like network, and I'm like, well, baby, this ain't the role. This ain't the role for you, because you can be an introvert, but baby, you need to be able to turn it on and get out here and network. So yeah, when people ask me what does it take, I think some of the key things it takes is persistence. These roles are very competitive across the board. I mean, you literally can have hundreds of people applying for a role over a 2-day period. It's insane. I've seen it with my own eyes. That's why I'm saying that. So it takes persistence, because you're going to hear a lot of no's, and and I'm always speaking about like the average. Will there be people who only hear one no or no no's and they get in on the first try? Absolutely. That's not everybody's story. I think that you need to be patient, because if you're hearing a lot of no's, it may be that your time is just not right now. It may not be that it's not your time. It's just maybe not right now. Or maybe you're supposed to get an industry under another umbrella, like maybe in medical writing or maybe in sales. It's like you have to think outside the box and decide what your ultimate goal is and how hard you're going to work it, right? So we need persistence and we need patience. And then you also need to have gratitude. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. If I am taking time out of my day to answer questions for you or talk to you and you don't say thank you, it may seem like such a small gesture, but if you don't say thank you, I like kind of write you off in my head. And that may sound mean, but it comes across as entitled and not having any regard for like my time or anybody else's time, which time for me is so valuable. And I'm always going to respect somebody's time. I may not get it right perfect, but one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you. And there are people who want to get into industry and they want information and they want to be helped and they don't say thank you. You don't have to send any money. You don't have to send any gifts. Thank you. All right, I'm glad I'm done with that. That is really something that really irks me. But yes, saying thank you. So gratitude goes a long way. And being grateful for your connections, being grateful for where you are, being grateful to be in this moment, I think it just changes the perspective of the job search. So then you're not overly stressed about it, right? And when I say it's competitive, it is also competitive for the people who are in industry, right? So we know that industry can be volatile, meaning that there are layoffs that happen. We're not guaranteed anything. And when layoffs happen, they usually happen in big chunks, and these people are moving around. So not only are you competing with people who are also aspiring MSLs and want to break into the industry in a highly competitive area, you may be competing with somebody who has industry experience. So again, persistence, patience, gratitude, go so far. A question that I get from other APPs is if you need to have that terminal degree, and I say yes. So yes, get that doctorate degree. It can be cumbersome. It can be not something you plan for. However, if you're trying to present as the best version of yourself and you are competing with others who have a terminal degree and some type of experience that is going to align with this company, you may be setting yourself up to not be as, not marketable. You just may not be the best candidate. That's really what it is. I get people who ask, is this something that's doable with kids? And I say, it depends. So I've been working in the industry for 3 years. And my kids were in high school at the time, and I felt like they were old enough for me to be gone. Sometimes I was gone for like maybe a day. Sometimes I could be gone for a week. But the hardest issue that I had was probably transportation. If my husband had to also work, not like at home, we both work from home. And if my schedule was really crazy and we had hired transportation, that was a challenge. But I had good support. And we were able to get the transportation if we needed. And now these kids got driver's licenses, so my life is a lot better. However, if you have small children, I wouldn't be able to really speak to that. I could see this being a challenging role with a role that requires a lot of travel. So when y'all see in those advertisements that it says up to 75% travel, these places ain't lying. You are on the road or in the air. In traveling, you know what I hate? I hate how professions sometimes glamorize what the role is. They make traveling not look like it's a hot mess. Traveling can be a hot mess and ghetto. Child, traveling can just be exhausting and tiring and unpredictable. Nothing glamorous about it. And it can be seen as a perk. So I had some nice Marriott status and Delta status when I was flying every week, but your girl was tired. I was exhausted. I had to always wear a mask because I didn't want to breathe plane germs. But you learn how to pack. You learn how to get things into a carry-on. You learn which airports are great for layovers and which ones are not. Because living where I live, everything's not a direct flight. But yeah, I will say that traveling can be a plus or minus. Another common question I get is, what is a day in the life of a MSL? I was about to say PA, but of an MSL. And there's none. I wish I could give you a cookie cutter version, but some days can be a lot of nothing, meaning you may not have a whole bunch of meetings. You may not have to travel anywhere. You may just have maybe some competencies and you're catching up on the publications or rereading publications because repetition is what makes things stick. And some days you may be up at early o'clock and don't go to bed till late o'clock. You may be driving 2.5 hours and all of a sudden hit a snowstorm while you're driving. Your flight may be canceled. You may have one meeting that turns into this multiple person meeting. You may have someone upset that you showed up at their clinic because you didn't know what time was going to be the busy time. There is no standard type of day. You may be doing work at 10 p.m. You may be working on a Saturday or a Sunday. So you need to be adaptable and be flexible and just kind of go with the flow. I have learned through my travels that in the area, if my flight gets canceled, it gets canceled. I don't sweat things. I have learned to be more patient as an MSL because there are things that are within my control and then there are things that are not. I will say that I do like that I do have some flexibility though. So as an MSL compared to when I was working clinically, I can go to the doctor And I'm gonna tell you why that's important, because I remember needing to get a medication refill, and my doctor was like, "I need to see you," and I'm like, "I have to take 4 hours of PTO for a 2 hour appointment. I don't have any other option." It was such a frustrating thing to maintain my own health. We need to take care of the people who are taking care of the people, but I do love that I'm able to make it to a doctor's appointment, because I have some upcoming doctor's appointments. I love the flexibility that, maybe my kid has an award ceremony that I need to get to. If I don't have anything pressing, I can push my work back and go to that and be present. Um, I am so grateful for the time that I have. I'm grateful for that. That flexibility really matters and helps impact the quality of life. Now, let me tell you something. Anything that's called work is not perfect. And I'm just going to say that. Like, I can love the value that I bring to providers. I could love the impact that I have on patients by introducing them to data that could be life-changing. But it's still work. So there's good days, there's bad days. I am definitely a fan of the diversity of backgrounds of the people that I work with. So there are people who are PhD educated, PharmD by training, doctors, and I love that I'm working with a diverse group of people that are all experts. Everyone has something different to bring. What's my unique MSL skill that I bring? So I am very much a people person. So I'm a people connector. So when I go to conferences, I talk to people. If I don't know anybody, I'm going to make it a goal to at least talk to 10 people. And you may not be anybody that's on my target list, but I am very personable and I'm fun. I think that being authentic and showing up and being human and also being able to present the data works to my advantage. I can also relate to the provider aspect because I've worked and taken care of patients. I understand what it's like to have a clinic not run as planned, meaning that, you're behind on patients. I know that lunch hours don't exist because I don't remember ever having one. I know you probably got a lunch 5 minutes, meaning you got to eat at your desk for 5 minutes before going into the next room. I know what it's like to be frustrated that the clinic is not closing on time because maybe you had to get to your kids' parent-teacher conferences. I get it. So I am very much empathetic to a provider's time, the work that they're doing every day. And I try and verbalize the respect that I have for them. And really try and make genuine connections. I am very fascinated with people's zodiac signs. So that is one of my table talks. And I'm like, when's your birthday? And I'm going to tell you your sign. I may have some things to tell you about it. I'm not a psychic, but I love the zodiac. That is one of my things. What else? So we talked about gratitude and I talked about my pet peeves. When you're reaching out to people to connect and strategically network, I say, like, if you have your eye on some companies, try and have a couple people at each of those companies that you are intentionally building a relationship with. If you're able to do that as an aspiring MSL and can duplicate that when it comes to interacting with key opinion leaders, you're going to be good. And I probably just want to close this out because I don't want this to be too long, right? I'm open to make more videos because I feel like the videos allow me to answer the question, go off on all my tangents that I want to go off on, and it's something that you can refer back to. But if you have more questions, I can make a video that could be helpful to somebody else as well. This helps me maximize my time. And then it helps you have like a place to go to. And then, yeah, well, I also suggest you go down Reddit. Look, Reddit ain't paying me. Reddit, you can find a lot of things on Reddit. I be on Reddit looking and I find all the things. When it comes to paying for services to help you break into your MSL role. I'm going to say this because I never want to come off as a hater, because that ain't me. I am a realist though, so listen, hear me out. It's not always necessary. Majority of the time, it's probably not necessary. But I will never hinder anybody or stop anybody from investing in themselves to make sure they're best prepared. So you need to ask yourself, is what you are, if what you're monetarily investing, do you feel that you're going to get an actual return on your investment? Because there's so many things you can Google, and like I told you, I go on Reddit. I'm not even lying. You'll find a lot of things. There's a whole like MSL thread on Reddit. I should probably link that below. I think I'm going to start back blogging. I need to get my mind out of what's everything that's going on outside. Get back to blogging, promoting my merch. I have PA inspired merch that has been around since 2020. Check out my website. That's going to be linked below too. I needed to sit in a season of prayer, meditation, and just kind of sorting out how can I mentor. So for right now, it may just be these videos that I'm providing just to not overextend myself and still be able to provide you value. I mean, I'm juggling it, right, y'all. So I may get the blogging. I may like make a little short blog. Y'all tell me what y'all want, because I can't always just individually do the things, but I want to help y'all, and I don't want to be burnt out, and I want to have joy. Well, okay. All right. Well, I thank you for watching to the end. If you stay to the end, if you like this video, please like it, comment, share, and I promise I will make another video sooner, because I'm moving to my new house, which I don't know if you can tell, but this is my new house, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit more settled. Stay tuned.